SuperTalk Mississippi 97.3 and 99.3.
December 13th on a Wednesday. SuperTalk Mississippi 97.3 and 99.3. Michael Mergens, our studios in Hattiesburg. Luke Johnson in downtown Laurel. I want to thank Lydia Walters with Dixie Electric Power Association for joining us, as well as Dixie Electric Power Association being a sponsor of 9 a.m. edition. Pretty much have been since the beginning. But a lot of great info, Luke, and stuff that people don't consider. But I heard a lot of that last night. People saying my power was out for 5 hours and they drove by. I don't know why. I'm waving them down. And just let them do their job. That's all. That's what I think. They know what they're doing. So just let them do it. But considering the circumstances and the fact that we got a lot more snow than we anticipated, really a good job, though, on their part. They were on top of it. So we congratulate all of our power companies throughout the area for getting us back to normal as quickly as possible. All right, since it is Wednesday, it means it's William Carey Wednesday. And joining me in studio, golf coach Jeff Mixon. He's been on the program before. Morning, Jeff.
Thank you, sir. Glad to be here.
And you brought some players with you this morning. I'm going to let you introduce them.
I did. I brought 2 seniors with me, Madison, Seay, and Tristan Hernandez.
And welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Glad to be here.
So, golf. This is kind of baseball's big at William Carey, but golf, it seems, is the sport, at least when I talk to everybody. And one of the big things about William Carey University, and Coach Mixon, we've talked about this before, the graduation rate for student athletes is in the
96%.
96%.
Yes, sir.
I don't know what the comparison is nationwide, but that's a huge number. And anyone of course, Luke, you can attest to this, when you're a student athlete, the pressure's on because you're trying to perform not only on the field but in the classroom and get that degree, because a lot of times for a lot of people, going beyond whatever their sport is and becoming a professional isn't always an option. Or they become a professional, something happens and they can't play anymore. What do I do now? The students at William Carey have that degree. And I guess how important is that time management between, because golf is kind of a long game. It's not like you have a clock. It's going to be this long today. We're going to be out there for 3 hours, then we can go study. Golf doesn't really work that way, does it?
Not really. I mean, usually we're practicing from like 1 to 5 every day.
Wow.
And then, so we usually have our classes in the morning, practice 1 to 5, and then, everything, school is pretty much in the evenings. Pretty much. And then for like trips, we'll leave sometimes Friday and not come back till late Tuesday night.
Wow.
So we really have to manage our time in our classes.
Yeah, because you've got some major road trips. Going some far distances with the golf team.
For sure.
So how do you manage that, though? How do you get that? Because I'm sure you study when you're on the road there, but considering the curriculum at William Carey, I couldn't do it. I can't focus that much. I can't even usually do one thing well compared to multiple. So how do you manage that time?
It's tough, but I mean, you just kind of have to look at the schedule and definitely keep in touch with your professors and let them know like when you'll be gone. If you need to make up something, let them know. See if you can do it early or when you get back. Just kind of staying on top of that and managing your time really well. A lot of the stuff we do is do at the end of the week or so. So I usually try to get that done before we go, and we're on the road.
Our teachers usually work very well with us. They, as long as we stay in touch with them, they understand that we're gone a lot, and that it could be hard from time to time whenever you're traveling. Because we'll travel to Wisconsin, California, Jacksonville.
Yeah.
And it's hard to keep up in a class that's only 10 weeks.
Yeah, I was going to ask that. The class attendance, does that make a difference not being there every day in the class in front of your professor? Because it sounds like there's just a lot of emails and probably notes on what you need to study. Does that make a difference?
I think it definitely does. Missing like lectures and stuff. For me, it's a little bit easier. I'm a psychology major, so a lot of my stuff... Oh my gosh, and you're on the golf team? Yeah, a lot of my stuff is online, so I'm able to... So I usually communicate that way anyway. But when I did biology classes and missing lectures and labs, that was hard to keep up. But got through it.
You know, a lot of the classes that we have now are leaning towards the hybrid type, where they're only meeting, you know, a few times over the course of 10 weeks, and the majority of it's done online. And a lot of that came to pass after the tornado, when we had to go from brick and mortar into a more electronic phase as far as the classes were concerned, in order to keep it going, to keep school going, to get through that trimester. So they've adapted to it pretty well, and they do a good job on the road. Like I think we talked about last time, that we will have study hall every now and again when it's called on, and they do a pretty good job managing it. And with the help of the professors, you know, they're able to keep that graduation rate up at 96. So.
Well, there's a distinct understanding at William Carey with the correlation between the academics and the athletics, in understanding that beyond, once you graduate, having that experience on a team is just as important as having that degree that is going to help you in whatever careers you've chosen. Have you kind of noticed that already at this point?
For sure. You know, so it's not really just your experience in the classroom. A lot of it is your experience on the court, course, field.
And even just talking to former students who were athletes have gone on to big-time careers. So, I mean, psychology, that's a big one. Tristan, how about you? What are you going to school, or do you want to be a professional golfer the rest of your life?
That would
be
great.
awesome.
Yeah. Now, that would be very hard to do. I'm into coaching.
Okay.
So
there's always an option. And Jeff, considering since the tornado, and we've seen this though, even without events like that with university, that more and more of the remote classes, and you said that the students have adapted, but was there a process? Was there sort of a rocky period in between that where they attempted to adapt? Because you know, with students, they get into that routine, and I know a lot of universities try to break that up by, you know, the semesters are shorter, your class schedule is different all the time, so that you don't fall into that. But a lot of times, just the practice of going to class, studying, going to practice, and then hitting the road for tournaments, it's, you know, becomes just the norm.
Yeah, well, you know, I have a master's degree in psychology, so she and I have a kinship when it comes to that part of golf management and things of that nature. But human beings are creatures of habit. I mean, we really are. And when your routine is disrupted, that can, you know, take a toll on you academically, emotionally, you know, whatever it might be. But there was a rocky time there after the tornado, whenever there was a lot of unsurety, a lot of classes that had been, you know, in the classroom are now being converted, so there was a lot of you know, communication problems. But that's what I meant by adapting. You know, the teachers had to adapt to it, the students had to adapt to it, us as a coaching staff had to adapt to it. And we were even having study hall out at Cambridge when we had nowhere else for them to go, so we'd use the meeting room out there.
Well, the Carry Strong campaign was certainly appropriate, because we saw that in the last year. And I know right after the tornado, everyone was sort of ashen because they had no idea what was going to happen. But as soon as that ball started rolling, everyone jumped right into it. And the success of all these teams in the wake of that, again, not knowing that a lot of seasons were going to continue or even going to start, how are things looking for the golf team?
Golf team's looking good. Guys got a win early this fall up in Atlanta, and that propelled them into the top 25 in the NAIA, where they're currently ranked number 22.
Wow.
And the girls, they're holding on to the top 10 ranking. They're at number 8. So they're doing well, and we're looking forward to the spring. Got a lot of excitement, a lot of momentum.
And you start working on that, you said off air, January 16th. Where's this year gone?
Yeah, I know, man. It's unbelievable.
And kind of considering the fact that golf, I know some people kind of raise their eyebrow when it comes to the athletic side of it, but William Carey's team has been so successful, and it seems cultural in the South when it comes to golf. Up north, of course, you don't have that long season of being able to play a whole lot. So just like hockey would probably not go over very well down here.
Exactly.
What do you attribute the success of just the golf teams over the years, especially with William Carey?
Well, it started way back in, I believe it was 1999, when Tracy English started the program, and he coached for several years, and DJ Pooley was one of his star players that came through, and of course DJ is now our athletic director. And then DJ, as his responsibilities got a little bit harder on him, they turned the men's program over to me, which I had started the women in 2010. So getting both of them, it can be stressful at times managing. With road trips, I'm the only one that goes, so take girls one week, take the guys the next week, and you just keep bouncing that back and forth throughout the year. So it's a lot of travel.
Yeah.
But we've had a great fall. All our sports have. Men's cross country won the conference championship. Both soccer teams, men and women, were in I believe the women went to the Final Four in the soccer tournament. Both of them were ranked number 1 in the nation at the same time this fall, so that was pretty special for them.
Well, we can't stress enough, and that's really the whole point of this program, just how important William Carey is not only to the community, but just as a university and the experience that you get. Guys, someone listening who's considering going to college, they're not really sure where to go, why would you suggest William Carey?
I personally like William Carey. It was close to home for me, was one thing, but another thing is the classroom, like the sizes. They're fairly small, so it's easy to get like one-on-one with your professor time. You meet a lot of people. You're around a lot of the same people, so everybody pretty much knows one another.
I agree with Maddie a lot on that. But whenever I got here, only people I knew was the golf team and the coach.
Yeah.
And after the first week of class, I knew probably 100 different people just by going to class, because I see the same people every day because the classes are so small. Especially whatever major you're in, you'll see the same people every day, and you'll get to know a lot more people as well.
Yeah, and like you said, the professors are willing to work with you because there is that face-to-face. Everyone knows your name, and a lot of larger universities, not taking anything away from them, but unless you're usually on their football team or depending on the area of the country, basketball team, the professors aren't so willing. They don't even really know who you are. So it's amazing the things that are happening at William Carey, and all the best to you next season, guys. We really appreciate you taking the time out this morning.
Thanks for having us.
Coach Jeff Mixon and Madison and Tristan, we appreciate it. And 9 a.m. edition continues next. We'll wrap things up. Stay with us on Super Talk Mississippi.